Yeah, so if you have it, a single and a double if you're joining us online. If not, you can take them in and out of the sock if you need to. All right, we'll get started. So welcome my students online. Welcome to you guys. Our practice this week is about winter warmth and how to conserve energy, stay warm in these colder months, right? So and the somatic work we do can be really helpful for encouraging blood flow to go through the body. So the minute we're cold, it's almost like the body goes into a survival mode, right? And everything starts to kind of tighten up. We know we feel stiffer, tighter in the winter. Our energy and everything starts to draw inward to the body, to the core of our body, to start to try and conserve energy, basically to keep us alive, because the cold is seen as a threat to survival, right? So the body is very primal. It just has this reactivity, whether we like it or not. So it's bringing everything into the core. And what this does is it increases the heat in the center of the body. So something you might notice is you're more hungry at this time of year. So the appetite might increase. As it said, our digestive fire starts to get a little bit more potent because the heat is drawing inward to the body. But as a result of that, we might feel colder in our limbs and our feet and our hands. We might feel like our circulation is not as good. I might have to turn that down for a little bit. So when we do somatic work, we start to relax that response, that survival response, that contraction of our tissues, of our fascia. And the somatic work starts to bring that circulation back out into the periphery so the body will feel warmer. So some of you, I know a few of you either came or will be here another day this week for regular traditional yoga. So we talked a bit in there about how we can heat the body by doing things like twisting, compacting, like when we do like eagle pose, we're all compacting. So we're almost encouraging that inward squeeze when we do more regular yoga. But when we do that contracting intentionally versus the body doing it kind of automatically, and then we consciously relax, again, it's bringing that circulation back out into the body. So that's what we're working on today, is trying to both encourage warmth and conserve energy. So the somatic work is very subtle, very, introspective. So in that way, we conserve energy, but then also encouraging more of the blood flow, circulation out into the periphery. We're going to start seated today, which is unusual for somatics. We usually start on our backs. So we're going to start seated, and maybe you want to sit up on something, a blanket, a pillow, whatever you might have. And if you're not comfortable cross-legged, you can certainly sit however you like. And then just come into a nice tall position and sit up nice and tall, come into your breath. And just kind of take note of where you feel warmth in your body, maybe anywhere you feel coolness in your body, and just starting to pay attention, tune in to what you are feeling. The moment we take our attention from the external to the internal, we start to conserve energy. So winter is not the time to be, getting as much done as we can, running around in the cold weather. It's a time to slow down, to tune inward and conserve. Now start to take that breath low in your abdomen into your lower back. So that lower, slower breath will encourage more circulation in the body. Let your eyes soften. Let your shoulders soften down away from your ears. So when we're cold, oftentimes we have that huddle, right? Our shoulders go up, we curl in, we're trying to bring everything as close together as possible. So we let those shoulders relax down, and even now open the shoulders so that you're opening your collarbones, opening through your chest, through your upper back. Keep breathing low and slow. Now from here, we're gonna rub our palms together. And we're gonna create some warmth and some friction in our hands. So both in Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, it's all about keep the body warm, conserve energy, but one of the major areas is the kidneys. So we're gonna bring our hands around to our lower back now, somewhere around your lower back ribs, and just press your hands into your back body and then come back into your breath. And you can have eyes open or closed, it's up to you. But that eyes closed is bringing the attention inward, conserving energy. And so there are specific areas of the body we try to keep warm when we go out in the cold. And this is one of the areas that's recommended. Keep the lower back warm. Now you're going to release that, make fists, lean over a little bit and go up and down like this, make friction on your lower back. So we're encouraging some blood flow in the kidney area. In Chinese medicine, this is said to be where we hold our life force energy, and the cold is very depleting for life force energy. Okay, release that, and now just kind of notice your back. Notice the warmth, the blood flow, anything you can sense there. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, now another area we want to keep warm when we go out in the cold is our head, right? We lose heat to our head. So bring our hands up on the top of the head like fingertips and just kind of feel and palpate and press into the top of your head. There's a lot of acupressure points in here for the body that encourage good circulation, blood flow. And then if you feel any sore spots, I want you to kind of massage, but if you don't feel any sore spots, just do that friction again, like you did with your kidney area. And just kind of warm up the top of your head. Keep that going for another moment. Okay, and then release and just feel that warmth at the top of your head. Breathe in, breathe out. Now we're going to go back of the base of the skull. So right where your hairline meets your neck, this is a point we work on a lot in yoga. It's called the wind point. So we want to keep it from exposure to the wind. We often wear scarves for that reason. And again, we're going to massage into that little spot right in the middle. It's where the head joins the neck. And this is an important acupressure point for keeping away those kinds of colds and flus and things like that. So you can massage it, you can do friction, you can press it, but the idea is we want to encourage the energy flow through this area. So the cold can make our chi, so chi is another word for life force energy, more stagnant, and then it's not flowing through all of these areas. And we're going to target some of these areas in the movement practice today as well. Okay, release, and now feel the back of the neck for a moment. And breathe in, breathe out. Okay, now hands over the heart, palms flat. And for a moment, just feel the warmth of your hands on your skin and breathe. So again, getting cold here in the chest, right? We can get that congestion in our lungs. It tightens up the skin around our fascia, around the chest, and it can limit that energy flow. So now we're going to circle around the heart. Press in gently and circle and just feel that warmth you're creating just with this simple movement. Okay, and then release and just feel the heart area for a moment, the chest. All of this warming up also encourages the lymphatic system. So if we're cold, the lymph is not going to flow as well. And the lymph is taking out the things we don't want in the body. So it's taking out toxins, bacteria, viruses, things like that. So we want to encourage our lymphatic flow. Now below the navel, so sometimes called the hara, the lower belly region, feel the warmth of your hands. And then again, we're going to circle. around the lower abdomen. So we don't want our digestive tract to be cold either. All the organ body, we want to keep all the vital areas of the body warm and protected when we're out in the cold. And this little routine is a good one you can do. So if you come in and you're feeling depleted from the cold, just kind of remember some of these places and warm them up, get the circulation flowing. Okay, and then release. Again, just feel that warmth in all these different areas. Now we're going to go into a light breath of fire. Okay, so this is an Ayurvedic technique for increasing warmth in the body, and it's a strong breath practice. I'm going to show it to you because I know some of you haven't done it before, and then we can try it together. So it's like a passive inhale, but you go and you press your belly in. It's like a pump, and the breath comes out through your nose like a powerful exhale. And then you do that rhythmically. So you sit up nice and tall, and it starts like this. And each time you're pumping, pumping, pumping your belly. And this starts to generate warmth and heat, so you might feel that. We're gonna do about a 10-round cycle, take a pause, then a 20-round cycle, take a pause, and a 30-round cycle. Now, if any of that feels like too much, you're gonna back off. You can go for 10, 15, whatever you can, because if you're new to this kind of breathing, it can create a little bit of lightheadedness, okay? But it also is really good for burning off our brain fog if we're feeling foggy. So take a breath in and a breath out. It might be helpful to put your hands on your belly. Begin. So you're pumping, pumping, pumping. Now inhale deeply, hold the breath, and then exhale all the way out. And then take a recovery breath or two. Now that was pretty easy. You're gonna go for 20 times this time. You can count it out on your own. I'm gonna try to approximate it. Sometimes I talk and I forget where I'm at. So you can stop anytime you need to. If you start to feel lightheaded, take a recovery breath or two. Take a full breath in, all the way out, and begin. Okay, inhale all the way in. Hold the breath at the top. And then exhale all the way out. Take a couple recovery breaths. So this can also help strengthen the diaphragm if you're finding it challenging and you're new to this practice. The more you do these kinds of things, it does get a little bit more natural, a little bit easier, but just bear with it. We're almost done. We got one more round. So again, you can stop at 10, 20, or we're gonna go all the way to 30. Take a full breath in, all the way out, and begin. Inhale deeply, hold the breath at the top, and then exhale all the way out. All right, and then just feel, sense, notice the effect of that breath practice in your body. So what I've been doing when I get in my car and I'm freezing, I start my breath of fire. I do that while I'm driving, and it really helps warm me up so my car gets going. So you might want to give it a try, but if you are getting lightheaded, don't do it while you're driving. It's fine for me. I've been doing it a long time. It doesn't bother me. Okay, so now that we're a little warmed up, I didn't want you to get right down in this practice today on your back, because sometimes we're cold and we lay there and then we're all exposed and we can feel very cold when we're down on our back. So now we're a little warmed up with all that kind of energy work and breathing. So go ahead and come down on your back. All right. So let's go ahead now and just come into like kind of a normal breath, like just breathing into the abdomen. And we're just going to take a little bit of time there. And we're going to come into a different breath practice. So this is called Ujjayi breath. Now, Ujjayi breath is almost like when you're fogging a mirror. So I want you to take an inhale through your nose and then open your mouth and pretend you're trying to fog a mirror and go. Okay, do that again. Inhale through your nose and then fog the imaginary mirror. Now, as you do that, you're feeling a little restriction in the back of your throat. So I want you to close your lips now and see if you can now breathe in through your nose and recreate that feeling of fogging the mirror on the inhale and the exhale. And this is a traditional yogic breath as well that is said to warm the breath as it comes into our lungs. So the cold air can be really irritating for our lungs. So this slows it down, it narrows our airways a bit. And breathing through the nose, being a little bit of a filter, it warms and moistens the breath, so it's not so cold and dry. So take a few more rounds, breathing in, breathing out through your nose, Ujjayi breath it's called. And it's also sometimes called ocean sounding breath, because if you kind of would close your ears while you do this, it might sound like that ocean sound. Now I want you to place your hands over your rib cage in the front. And you're welcome to bend your knees, by the way, if your lower back bothers you here. You can keep them out straight if you like. Now feel the warmth of your hands over your rib cage. And as you breathe in, try to expand where your hands are. And then breathe out. And as you breathe out, gently press your hands into your ribs. And now keep that slight pressure and try to inhale against the resistance of your hands. So we're increasing that resistance, which is strengthening for our lungs and also slows the breath down a little bit more. So we're still encouraging that warmth and moisture as we breathe in and breathe out through the nose. As you exhale and you give that little pressure with your hands, start to squeeze your abdomen a little bit. So we're compressing, squeezing out all that air. And then inhale, let your hands expand a bit, but keep a little pressure there. So there's a slight resistance. And let's do 3 more rounds of Ujjayi breath with the hands warming up the tissue around the rib cage. So if we're very cold, the tissue is retracting in the whole body, right? It's getting tighter, it's trying to protect us, it's trying to conserve warmth. And that includes the tissue around our lungs, our fascia, and the pleural sacs around our lungs. Everything's getting tighter, more contracted, which can make it harder to breathe. So the warmth of your hands starts to soften that tissue and encouraging better breathing. Now, relax your hands and take another breath or 2 without the resistance. Let's say 2 more Ujjayi breaths, and then we're gonna start some movement. Okay, after that second breath, if your legs are bent, let's try to see if we can straighten the legs. And we're gonna put our arms directly at our sides. Okay. We're going to be doing a lot of twisting work. Twisting work brings warmth into the body. We're going to take both arms and roll both arms to the right. Roll, roll, roll. And as you roll to the right, notice your torso takes a little twist and that left outer hip is starting to firm in. Maybe your abdomen's firming in, and then relax back to center. And then do that to the left. Roll both arms to the left. Your hands, your arms, your right shoulder's gonna lift. Maybe your head turns. Now notice that right side contract and then relax back to the center. Now we're gonna go side to side. We're rolling both arms in the same direction all the way from the shoulder joint. Let your head roll with your arms. Let your shoulder lift on that opposite side and relax as you come back to the center. Okay, let's inhale, roll the arms. Feel those muscles contracting inward, and then exhale, soften back to the center. Okay, let's repeat a few more rounds. And we're also here adding, this is rotation of the arms. Now, some of you guys are lifting your arms. I want you to watch me for a moment. The arms are staying on the floor, and I'm just rolling into the body and away from the body. And then the other way. Okay, so no lifting of the arms. Okay. So if you've done this stuff with me before, somatic work, it's almost like that wash rag, but the arms are at your side instead of out to a T. Okay, so now that everyone's got that, let's do a few more. If you want to get a little bit more sensation, add a little squeeze. So as you roll the arms, give a little squeeze to your shoulder, maybe your glute muscle, maybe your head presses into the floor. The most important thing is that when we go back to center, back to neutral, we're completely relaxing. Because that gives the brain, the muscles, the nervous system that opportunity to let go of that tension. One more round. And we always want to move slowly, mindfully, fluidly. Pause. Because when we're tense, we're anything but fluid in our body. We're starting to get stiff. We don't move as agile. Everything just feels more awkward, stiff, sore. So we want to create fluidity in our fascia and our tissues. Now, we're going to do that same thing with the legs. Nothing's lifting off the ground. So from deep in your hip joints, turn both legs, your toes to the right. Now it's going to be a small movement. You're not going to go far. And then release back to the start. So leg bones, knees, toes to the left. Feel any muscles engage in your legs. And then release. Now be mindful of your knees. If this bothers your knees, make sure you put a little bend in your knees. And maybe don't go as far. Let the head roll where it wants to roll. And keep going a few more cycles. So it's a small movement. We're just rotating legs right to left, including the feet and the toes. Noticing leg muscles, hip muscles, gluteal muscles working. One more round. Continue to move slowly. Okay, come back to center, take a pause, breathe in, breathe out. Drink. Okay, now we're gonna put that together. The arms and the legs are gonna go opposite. So here's where somatic work also becomes neurological work. So it works with your nervous system, your brain, and it helps your brain be sharper. And it helps build brain maps between your body and your brain. So it makes you think a little bit. So let's take the arms to the right, the head to the right, and the legs to the left. Maybe give that little squeeze, and then relax back to the start. Okay, arms to the left, head to the left, legs to the right. Squeeze if you want, and then relax. Okay, side to side, let's do a few more rounds. You're gonna wanna take your legs in the same direction, but try to pay attention and go the opposite. So arms and legs rolling opposite directions. And it adds more of that element of twist. So if I were going all in the same direction, there wouldn't be so much twist. Maybe a little squeeze of the shoulder, the hip. Notice your lower back here. We're stimulating some of that lower back area. Bringing some warmth into the neck and the head. One more round on each side. Okay, now relax back to center. Take a full breath in, full breath out. And now slide your right leg forward toward the top of your mat. Lengthen that right leg. And then slide the left leg forward toward the top of your mat. Nothing is lifting off the ground. You're just sliding. It's called up, slip, down, slip. Yeah, so if you're new to practice, you'll catch on. It takes a little bit of learning curve here. Slide one leg, try to touch the top of your mat with your foot, and then slide the other leg. And so here we're loosening up through the lower back, an area that often takes a hit in the cold. We might feel more lower back pain when it's cold. One more cycle. Good. Okay, we're going to grab our block. And bend the knees, place your block between your inner thighs. So we do this a lot, but this is really good because when we squeeze the block, we're concentrating that energy into that inner core of the body. And we're going to add a little bit of abdominal work. So it's another area we want to keep warm. Go ahead and take any blanket out from under your head for a moment and interlace your hands behind the back of your head. Okay, now it's kind of like a sit-up, but we're more focused here on the movements of the spine. So I want you to press your elbows down, open through your chest, and arch your back. So now your rib cage lifts and your back muscles contract. That's your inhale. And then as you exhale, we're gonna curl up. So we're gonna squeeze the block, curl up, and continue. Inhale, come down, open the elbows, arch the back. Exhale, we curl up, bring the elbows in, lift the tailbone up toward the nose toward the tailbone, and then continue. Hi, Yenny. So I'm gonna just check in, see how you guys are doing. So it's almost like a sit-up, but we have that extra step of arching the back when you come down. That's it. And as you come up, really think about concentrating that energy around your navel, around your abdomen. Give it a good squeeze. Try to get all the breath out and then continue. So in the world of Ayurveda, we have qualities of each season. And right now we're in the season that's cold and dry. And so it has an effect on the body. So we need to cultivate the opposite. We want to bring in that warmth, and we also want to bring in fluidity, moisture into our system to help balance things out. So we're going to do a few more. So a couple more tips here is to think about what we're putting into our bodies, right? As you continue, I'll distract you with a little bit of, talking about diet. So are we putting cold things in? Are we drinking ice water, eating ice cream, raw salads, raw foods? Ayurveda recommends we don't do that, especially in the winter, okay? Fine in the summer if we're in balance, but those things are gonna make it worse. They're gonna cool our digestive tract, they're gonna cool our body, and we really want that warmth. So we wanna have liquid, warm things like soups, stews, hot teas, warm spices like the gingers, the cardamoms, the cinnamons, The yogis like to drink their chai tea. So things like that are going to help encourage more warmth in the body. Take a break after this next round. Take a moment, relax your arms, take your block away, and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. All right, come back to the center, and we're gonna roll onto our right side. And if you want to be able to see me, you could turn to your side on your right side. You're going to stack up your knees and bring your knees close in like you're curling up into a little fetal curl on your side. And this position itself is often one the body will intuitively go to be warmer, right? But we're going to add in our little side core work. Your head is resting on your bottom arm. Maybe you need a pillow or a blanket on top of your arm if it doesn't feel like enough support. Now we're going to straighten the top leg and the top arm, and they're hovering away from the floor. Okay. Take your top leg behind you, take your top arm behind you, and maybe even tip your head back, and we stretch open through our front and contract our back. Then as you exhale, elbow to knee, tuck in, curl in, try to bring your nose and your knee together, and then repeat. Inhale, expand. Lengthen the arm, lengthen the leg, bring it behind you. Maybe you even lift your head, tip your head back, and then exhale, we curl in. And as you curl in, give a good squeeze if that feels okay. And then repeat. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl in, contract your abdominals. And we're working more on that one side. This is also releasing for the psoas muscle, which will tighten up in any time we feel threat, and cold can be a threat. And so every time we reach that arm long and behind us, we stretch our hip flexor, our psoas muscle, and then we contract it. And we create that warmth and that heat in the abdomen. Let's do 2 more. We want to repeat these movements for about a whole minute. Tuck in, bring your head in. 1 more. And then relax your top knee down, stay on your side, pull your knees in, tuck into a little ball, and then puff your back away from you. So you're like kind of rounding your back, and breathe into your back. So that's that kidney area. Take a couple breaths there. Imagine bringing warm, moist air into the kidneys. Okay, go ahead and roll over onto your back and pause. And just breathe in, breathe out. Notice that top side. Maybe it feels a little different, maybe brighter, more open than that bottom side. And now let's even ourselves out. So roll onto your other side. Start in that little fetal curl, support your head. Really tuck those knees up. And when you're ready, straighten the top arm, top leg. Reach that arm and leg behind you. Maybe you lift your head, bring your head back if you have no neck problems here. Then exhale, curl in, elbow to knee, tuck in. Try to touch your nose to your knee. And then repeat. Inhale, open and expand. Exhale, curl in. And repeat. That top leg might stay completely straight, or maybe you bend it when you take it back, if that feels better. Maybe curl it, maybe straighten it, see what feels good. And notice that contrast between opening up that top side body and contracting top side body. Go slowly and fluidly. Give that little squeeze at the end, like you want to take all the breath out. Squeeze that breath out, which is also going to strengthen our lungs. Two more. And after this next one, go ahead and pause on your side. Tuck your knees and head in. Puff your back toward the wall behind you. And breathe into your kidney area. Imagine warm, moist breath coming in. Good, and then roll to your side. Roll to your back and pause. And again, breathe, notice, feel that one side versus the other. All right, bend the knees, feet flat, take your arms out to a T. You may or may not need something under your head. Now take your right arm and slide that right arm as far to the right as you can, turning your head, and then slide to the other side. So you're just sliding your arms one side to the other. Notice your side waist, hips, and rib cage. Now, as you slide your right hip up towards your right shoulder, contract your side waist, and then release. And slide the other way. Slide your hip up towards your shoulder, contract on the side, and release. Keep this going. Maybe press your head down into the floor, opening up more through the side of your neck. As you slide to one side, maybe even bring that opposite shoulder in and towards your ear. Give it a little squeeze if you want to add on. So this contract and release helps us let go of some of that tension, especially in and around the core of our body. We're doing that shoulder squeeze. It's helping to release where our shoulders are all rounded and tight if we're trying to conserve heat. And also we're stimulating the area around our head and neck. Let your head roll in the direction that you're reaching. One more round on each side. And then pause in the center and feel perhaps a little more energy flow through your chest and your arms. So what do we do when we're cold? We close off our chest, we huddle, and this helps open up the area, the pathway that is for our lungs and our heart. So in Chinese medicine, lungs and our heart energy flows out through our fascia of our arms. So we're really opening up that whole pathway. And we also have acupressure points in the front of the chest that get tight and congested in the cold. Okay, now feet as wide as your mat. We're gonna go into a windshield wiper, but we're gonna add on some arm flow. Drop your knees to the right. Look to your left. We're gonna start out with just the windshield wiper. Drop your knees to the right. To your left. Look to your right. So your head is going opposite of your knees. Maybe you push into your feet, your head, your arms, if that feels good. So sometimes the body is tight and we don't need that extra pushing, but sometimes we need to get a little deeper to feel the stretch. So maybe you need that extra activation. Let's inhale as we twist. Exhale through center. So we slow it down. Now reach through your arms as you do this. Like we did before, slide through your arms. You're not going to really go side to side, but think about expanding through your arms from your heart and your lungs outward through your arms. Okay, notice how this feels through your side waist and your hip. Okay, now pause for a moment. We're going to add a second part on. Now, as I give you multiple instructions, sometimes it's too much for the brain, so feel free to repeat what you just did if your brain starts to get overwhelmed, okay? So let's try it slowly together. Drop your knees to the right. Now look to the right. Take your left arm, slide it along the floor over your head like a full body stretch, and circle around as far as you can. And then reach that arm in a big arc all the way back around, back to center. Now let's just repeat that same side a few times. If this is too much on your shoulders, just do the legs, okay? Drop your knees to the right, look to the right. Left arm, sweep it around. Let your fingers stay on the floor if you can. And circle around as far as you go. Reach that arm away from the body and then circle it back. And the fingers may just graze the floor. Maybe they lift a little bit. Same side again. Inhale as you do this movement. And then reach through that arm. Come back. One more on this side. Okay, come back to center. Feel that left side. Maybe for me, I feel like little tingles, more warmth. We're increasing our circulation and our energy flow through those areas we just stretched out. And we're increasing the brain map. So now we have more awareness of that side of the body. Let's do the other side. Drop your knees over to the left, look to your left. Slide your top arm over your ear around, make a big arc, and then reach that arm as far as it'll go. And continue. And stay in the realm of what's comfortable for you. So if anything is not feeling good, you feel pain, you want to modify, or maybe just do the bottom part. Maybe just you're doing the legs and skipping the arms. That's it. So the arm begins to go back first, then the legs come back. The other arm could stay out to a T in line with your shoulder. So you may need to move your props out of the way. Yeah. Looks good, guys. You got it. Let's do two more on this side. So essentially, every time we do somatic yoga, we're warming up, lubricating the connective tissue. And that connective tissue is always responding to stress, temperature, threat, trauma. Any of those things can make it tighten up. Come back and pause in the center and breathe. We're gonna do one more round and we're gonna alternate now side to side. So keep your feet as wide apart as the mat. You wanna keep that space, makes it easier to windshield wiper. Drop your knees to the right, look to the right. Sweep the arm overhead, big circle, reach that arm away from your body. And then circle it overhead, and we're gonna go right to the other side. Drop your knees to the left. Circle that right arm overhead, reach, reach, reach. And flow like a beautiful dance, right to left. Continuous. That's it. Keep it slow and mindful. And the important thing is, can we keep our attention in what we're feeling in the body? Yeah, so if you need to, just simplify and do the legs. You can skip the arms. Maybe if you're just doing the legs, you might want to turn your head opposite of your knees. But those of you doing the full movement pattern, let your head go with your knees. Okay. And let's do 2 more rounds on each side. Looks good, Trace. After the second round, we're going to come back to the center and pause. And in the pauses, you could have feet flat, you could straighten the legs, but you want to have a sense of kind of dropping into the ground, surrender, releasing. When we're cold, what do? We do the opposite. We try to curl up away from the ground. We would be in a little ball here if we were really cold. So we want to send this signal to the brain. We're safe, we're warm. We can relax that tension we're feeling in the body. All right. Now everyone legs out straight. This is a new move. If you need to watch for a moment, you always can, but try to just follow my instructions. Those of you who are able to, we're going to take right arm out to a T and left hand on the right shoulder. Hopefully that's okay for everyone. And then we're going to take the right leg on top. Okay, let me say this again. This is new for me too. Take your right heel, stack it on top of your right big toe. Why don't you guys watch me for a second? I'm getting myself confused today. My mind is distracted, of course, with what's going on with my mom. So we're going to stack the right heel on top of the left big toe and second toe. It's almost like your toes split and you make a V and your inner thighs are crossed and you're stacking. Now, right arm out to a T, left hand on your right shoulder. You're going to press your right shoulder down, look to your right, and now roll your legs to the left. You really got to press into that shoulder. And we're using some core, we're squeezing the legs, and then we're coming back to the center. Now you might not be able to get that rollover today. This is a challenging one. All right, squeeze the legs, press your right shoulder down, look to your right. And then any amount, roll your legs to the left. Squeeze your inner thighs. And then come back to the start. Okay, keep that going. Now, if it's too much, you can maybe put your foot on the floor and push in your foot that way, like the unwinding. So this is like unwinding, those of you who have done that move with me before, but more challenging, okay? So either legs are stacked like this, you're gonna use more core, or we're putting the foot on the floor, bend the top knee, and then you can push into the foot. So if you're finding it too hard, go ahead and do the modification. All right, so this one builds some heat because we're using those muscles. Maybe you're even using your gluteal muscles, some lower back muscles. Inhale as you turn, opposite side, press through the arm, the head. Exhale, center. And relax. One more. Okay, then uncross the legs, relax your other arm, pause. Feel that warmth through the body. Then we're gonna try our other side. So bring those legs back together and you're either stacking left heel on top of that right big toe, little second toe, first and second toes, inner thighs squeeze together, or put that foot flat. Then right hand to left shoulder. We press down through that shoulder and arm, and we're gonna look to the left. And then roll your hips toward the right. And relax. And you're probably gonna find one side is a lot easier than the other. Inhale, turn. Exhale, relax. And so anytime we twist, we're stimulating that center core of the body where we're holding all that heat. And hopefully we release that contraction around our center core, and then the warmth can move out through the periphery. Might need to squeeze that bottom hip a little bit to make this action happen. Okay, last one, and then pause. You need to at any time, you can do a little windshield wiper or a knee hug, or you just drop in and take a little observation time. Okay, we're gonna do that same thing, but alternate. So that's gonna be tricky. So we're gonna do the best you can. So either right foot flat or stack your heel. Left hand to left shoulder, look right. Roll to the left. Squeeze those inner thighs. Come back. Switch the legs, switch the arms. Roll to your right. Press your left shoulder down. And continue switching. Not so bad. You might feel this through that kidney band as well. We're contracting through that kidney band. So we bring warmth in when we contract. But we also have to be able to release so that that warmth can dissipate. So do the best you can, alternating sides. If you're new to practice, you can always watch one of your neighbors. Some of these guys have been doing this a while with me. Not this move, but even if you haven't done this move, you get the principles after you try a few rounds of this practice. Okay, one more side, finish out, make sure you're even. All right, go ahead and release. Maybe you need a little windshield wiper or a knee hug. And then we'll let it all go for a few breaths. All right, so take your time. We're gonna roll to our side and we'll do a little seated work. So most of somatic work is done on the ground. Sometimes we do a little bit of seated work. How are we doing? Doing okay? Okay, good. Your brain hurts. Oh. Okay, so we're gonna just sit up nice and tall and we're gonna learn somatic twist. Some of you done with me before. So the important part is we're incorporating a pelvic tilt as we do the twist. So let's get that down first. So it's like a seated cat-cow. So hold on wherever you like. Inhale, arch your back. So it's a back bend. And then exhale, round. And as you round, curl, tuck under with your tailbone. And then repeat. Inhale, arch, going slowly. Maybe you want to close your eyes. Exhale, round. And as you round, try to feel like you're pulling your kidneys back. So that area right below your lower ribs. And as you inhale, pull them in. Let's do a few more of those. When we get really cold, it's almost like those kidneys want to pull in away from the surface for survival. And so here we're bringing more stimulation into this area so we can release any tension and contraction in there. Feel free, by the way, if you want to put your legs a different way, or you always can put a block under each knee. So there's more blocks up here if you ever need them, if you know that's hard for you to sit. Okay, last one. Okay, and then go ahead and come up. Okay, so feel free if you need to, you can put your legs out straight, okay? All right, so now we're gonna add the twist. So reach the arms up and twist to your right. Now stay in that twist and do those same pelvic tilts. So inhale, arch. Exhale, tuck under, round. And then we're gonna add more twist. So this next time as you round, come forward with your head, look over your front shoulder, bring your back shoulder around to the front. Let it kind of squeeze forward. And then inhale, look over your back shoulder, arch your back, maybe tip your head back. Exhale, round, tuck under, look over your left shoulder. And then inhale, look over your right shoulder, arch. Again, here we're stimulating kidney area, lower back area, head and neck, chest and shoulders, getting warmth into all these vital areas that can take a hit from the cold. Now go inward with your attention. What are you feeling? What are you noticing? And move like you're underwater, very fluid, very slow. Make sure you're finishing out your exhalations. And that gets all the stale air out of the lungs. Last one. And come back to the center, take a pause, breathe in, breathe out. Good. Okay, switch your legs if you're doing cross legs. Again, feel free to support with blocks if you need to. And then we're gonna reach the arms up and twist to the other side. First, get your pelvic tilt going. Inhale, tip your pelvis forward. Exhale, tuck under, round, almost like you're leaning back a bit. And then add your twist. Inhale, look over the back shoulder, arch. Exhale, look over the right shoulder, round, tuck the tailbone under, and repeat. Now in the beginning, the somatic movements, they might feel awkward. So our body's not always coordinated. And we dissociate between our brain and our musculoskeletal system. The more we do this practice, the more we start to become more fluid, and that awkwardness starts to dissipate. But a regular practice is important if we want to see that change. Let's do two more. After that next one, come back around to the center and pause, sit up nice and tall, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, bring the soles of your feet together. And we're going to do a little bit more of that energy work. So we're going to find your ankle bone. Okay. And then drop right below the ankle bone, right above your heel. There's a little indentation. And you can use your fingers, your thumbs, whatever you want. We're going to massage that for a little bit. And this is one of the acupressure points for the kidney called kidney 3. And this can be helpful for things like lower back pain, but it's also related to ears. So for me, the ears were really one of the things that were bothering me when we were having the wind and the cold. The kidneys, like if you think about the ear shape, it looks like a kidney shape, right? They're connected through Chinese medicine. Kidneys and ears are connected. And so this is a point that's said to be good for the ears. Now we're going to release that for a moment and go about 4 fingers up from that top of that ankle bone and place your thumbs there. And this is a spleen point, and you're going to just massage up and down the inner lower leg. Okay. So the spleen is good for the immune system here, as well as fighting fatigue if we've been fatigued. But what we're doing is we're stimulating the kidney energy flow goes from our bottom of our foot up here through the inner leg and up into the chest area. So we're encouraging that energy flow by stimulating the acupressure points along those pathways. One more. All right. And then from here, lean forward any amount, scoot your sit bones back and apart. And we're going to do almost like that same arch and curl. So we're going to inhale, lift up, arch the back, try to tighten your back. And then exhale, round in and draw the kidneys back. Inhale, pull forward and up, tighten through your back chain. You might also feel inner thighs. Exhale, press the kidney area back. And so we're trying to encourage that same energy flow now through this area of the lower back. So go ahead and do a few more of those. One more round. Finish that exhale. Last one. And then come all the way up, back up to a tall position. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so we're gonna finish up with a little ball work. So if you're new to my class, you could even skip the balls because sometimes they can be a little intense if your body's not ready for it. As you start to loosen things up, the balls usually feel pretty good, but sometimes it's that hurt so good kind of feeling. Let me show you what we're gonna do. We're gonna be doing kind of a thread the needle pose, and the ball is gonna be actually padded by your blanket, so it makes it a little softer. And we're gonna hit this area right here in front of the ear. It's a jaw area. So when we're tense, everything tightens up, including like our face, our jaw. But then again, this is related to the ear, right? And the cold and the wind can really affect the ear area. So first we're gonna start, the ball's gonna go here on the jaw, just to release. Okay, and then you're actually gonna go kind of around the ear a little bit. So let me show you the positioning. I'm gonna take my blanket and fold it up so that the ball has padding. And you can do this pose without the ball if you want to try it with the ball, see how it feels. I'm going to come to all fours, and I'm going to move this ball just a little to the right. I'm going to reach my right arm up, and I'm going to thread it through. And then my temple here, not my temple, actually you could do your temple too. It might feel good. I wasn't planning that, but that could be good. Temple, then jaw, then ear. So let's start there, temple, and you're gonna kind of roll it around. Then go in front of your jaw. You're gonna go as long as you want, and then your ear. I went really fast, but see how it feels to get some acupressure in and around your temple, your jaw, your ear. Okay, now if you're not making it to the floor, you're gonna take a block and you're gonna put the ball on the block, and then it's a little higher for you, okay? At the same time, we're opening up the back of the shoulder blade and letting some energy come through there. Okay, all right, so let's play with that. Feel free to also put padding under your knees if your knees are sensitive on this hard floor. You could double your other end of your blanket up underneath your knees. Okay. Start with temple, maybe stay there for a few rounds and then go to right in front of the ear, and that is the hinge of your jaw. And then go right over the ear if that feels okay. Now, if you want to, you could also just do this seated. So if the thread the needle's too much, take your ball and just kind of rotate it over your temple, over your jaw, over your ear. It's not going to be as much pressure, but it could be more comfortable for you too, okay? When you feel like you've had enough playtime on that side, you're going to switch it over to your other side. But maybe just feel and notice the energy flow now through your ear, and also that might connect down into your neck, through the jaw area. So feel free to use the block if you need to. Pad the ball with your blanket. Start with temple, and then progress to jaw, and then around your ear. Oh, we're almost out of time. So fast. We're gonna do one more little thing at the end, and then we're gonna have to do our relaxation time. Okay, so whenever you feel like you've done all three of those spots, let's go ahead and come on your back. Keep your balls in the sock nearby and put something under your head. So maybe you got a blanket or a pillow there. Always feel free to bring extra things with you, especially if you tend toward cold. You might want some layers. You might want an extra blanket to cover with. Take those balls. Now we did something similar last week. I was going to do something more detailed, but we are out of time. So we'll have to get to that another time. We're going to lift the hips and put the balls in that place between the ribs and the pelvis. That's that kidney band area that I've been referring to. And last week we talked about supporting the lower back, and we worked this area. Take your arms out to a T. And now slide your right arm all the way to the right. Let your head go to the right. And then slide your arms to the left, like we did in the beginning, but now you're gonna feel the pressure of those balls massaging the lower back, okay? Now, if it's too much, skip the balls today, or maybe you put padding over the balls. You could put your blanket over the balls if you wanted to. Yeah, the two balls. Yeah. So they're horizontal, by the way. So one ball on either side of your spine. And encouraging energy flow through the kidneys, which hold our life force energy. In Chinese medicine, they're referred to as the roots of the body. And so we want to nourish our roots so that we can grow. And the kidneys, once they lose their life force energy, we may feel like we lack motivation. We are no longer able to grow, and we just feel a little more stagnant. top of the kidneys, we talk about this a lot, are the adrenal glands, and they also can get affected, worn out by the cold. So we're just getting that energy flow into this area. Okay, so go ahead now and come off of the balls, and we're gonna hug the knees into the chest and make circles, rock, whatever feels good there. Massage that area out. You might want to try knees close in, and you get higher up with that rocking. And then as you let the knees move away, then the rock comes down lower in the back. So you can play with rocking up and down the spine a bit by playing with your knee placement. Rock and pull the knees up and in, and then pull the knees slightly away and down. Okay, let the feet come down again. Do one more little windshield wiper. And then straighten your legs and circle bounce. Move the legs around just to kind of make sure the lower back feels loose. And then drop into Shavasana, which is our relaxation pose. Now, if your lower back feels uncomfortable with legs straight, you could put something under the knees, like a rolled up blanket, or you could put your feet flat. Okay. Now we are in a face-up position. So now the body again might feel toward cold if you are in an facing up position. So maybe you want to roll to your belly and conserve heat for your vital organs by doing a Shavasana on your belly today. Or cover yourself up. Okay. So when I'm at home and I practice, I like to put weight on me, like a weighted blanket, and then that'll help me feel more grounded and really keep that energy inward. Just tune into the body and just imagine bringing warmth into all those vital areas we talked about today. So maybe it's the top of the head or the back of the neck. Maybe it's your heart, chest space, kidney band, the lower back. So in your mind's eye, invite in a sense of warmth to all of these areas. Sometimes working with color can be helpful. So what are the warm colors, right? Yellow, orange, red are going to be more warming than if like, we're thinking about a blue color. Another great tip if you suffer in winter is to get infrared light. So there's infrared saunas you can go to. One of my massage therapists used to have one, or you can buy yourself a little red light panel, which is what I do at home. So getting that red light into your skin is going to be helpful if you see seasonal depression or the cold is really getting to you. We'll share today's reading. This is called Winter Meditation. Winter Meditation by Tess Bomberger. Something has changed in me this winter. In the past, I've focused on how long winter is, how miserable I find it, and how it seems so interminable. But this winter, I find myself thinking instead that every day, every hour, every minute brings us that much closer to spring. We all experience wintry times, are muffled by layered shrouds of snow. It is helpful to remember that each day that dawns bleakly, each night that wraps its cold cloak around our hearts, brings us closer to that time of warm and vibrant sun. It is perhaps helpful to consider that turning towards spring is an active thing. The earth, which seems so stable, in fact flies quickly through space, on its path that tilts us ever toward the source. So too, each memory we lay to rest, each truth in ourselves that we encounter and accept, each wrong act that we forgive, ushers us on toward renewal. All right, so let's take our time, start to tune into what you're feeling here at the end of the practice. Hopefully having increased the flow of warmth and energy through our bodies. Take your time to move as you like. And eventually, let's go ahead and come over onto your side. Take a pause there. And after you've had a moment to pause, take your time to come back up, comfortable seat, and we'll sit up tall through our center. Please feel free to sit however you like with your legs, and then lift up out of the lower back through the crown of the head, as if you were reaching for the sun through the top of the head. All that space in your center as you bring your two palms together. And take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, bow inward to your heart. Namaste.